Hello, my name is Mitchell Snyder, and this is my summary for Chapter 2. Put the camera down. Hopefully, that helps the stability, and it's more pleasing than all the shakiness. So, Chapter 2 is more about the community, the kind of environment, or the whatever uh, of sports. I would say it starts off in this interview with Bob Krizek, the communication and sports scholar of St. Louis University. His quote: "The community of sport is a symbolic collective that includes all the people who work in, participate in, are fans of, and/or reporters of sport and sporting events spanning countries, regions, cities, and schools. It includes everyone who touches any aspect of sport and is larger than any country or single religion. It connects us to the past and helps us anticipate the future." I would say this is a pretty overarching point of chapter 2 because the idea behind it is we all connect through sport. They say that music is the universal language, meaning that you don't have to speak English, you don't have to speak Spanish, you don't have to speak Portuguese, you don't have to speak German, etc. to enjoy music. Everybody understands, can listen to, can like music. And I think sport is pretty similar. I don't think, once you understand the rules, you don't have to speak Spanish. You don't have to speak English to play certain sports. If you understand the rules, you can just meet up with people and play that sport. And this is kind of what that's saying is sport has created its own environment, its own lifestyle, its own community, worldly community, because of the fondness for it, the love for it. And also, I would say the next takeaway is also in this interview. It kind of connects more to the media, because that's also what this chapter is a lot about, is the media allows us to be socially present in many places in multiple ways. And I've done this before. I've experienced this. That's a quote from Bob Krizek as well. You can follow and know what's going on today with all the technological advances we have in society. You can follow so many things at once that it would probably be incomprehensible for people 50 years ago. I've done this by paying attention to two baseball games at once. I'm from Indianapolis. Our downtown Indianapolis has the Indianapolis Indians, which is the AAA ball club for the Pittsburgh Pirates. And one time I was at a game sitting on the first base side for the Indians on a very beautiful Sunday, and in left field on the fence they had a screen. They had screens on the left field fence that showed scores from around the MLB and around other AAA games. And my favorite MLB team, the Cincinnati Reds, were playing on that day. So I was able to watch one baseball game while also being updated on the scores of another baseball game. Uh, and it's media like that that allows us to be in so many places at once, meaning, we can pay attention to so much at once when it comes to sports. Takeaway 3 comes later in the chapter, talking about casual play, sport as leisure, and it's a pretty good summary of, I think, kind of the life of sports. The quote is, "Regardless of age, casual sports represent a substantial portion of all athletics and communicate many foundational messages. Sport should be a vital and healthy part of anyone's life. Sport is a primary means for functioning socially, and C, participation in a sport is more likely to yield high character and enhanced opportunity for those involved." So this is just saying, this is kind of going back a little bit more about chapter 1 about the importance of sports, in terms of, it creates it creates a lot of values and beliefs, and generally can make you a better person, and a healthier person in life by just participating in sport, because it's such a physical activity, but it also gets you involved with other people. And if you're spending more time with other people, you might become a better person for it. But where it connects to communication is B, sport is a primary means for functioning socially. My relation to this is one of my favorite things to do is play basketball with friends from Indianapolis that I have had growing up, and we have a good mix of playing seriously to enough to want to win, but not seriously enough to like where we're super competitive and really going at each other. It's more fun and there's jokes, but we all still try to want to win. So it's organized enough, but it's not super competitive, super strict. Um, that's not even that's a very general term of just communication. It allows me and my friends to stay in touch. Another thing for communicating with my friends is there's a friend I have that we primarily talk basketball. We talk almost every day, or often a couple times a week, because of basketball and other sports. And right now with the NBA playoffs going on, we were just earlier talking about the currently the Raptors and the Bucks and the Golden State Warriors. So sports allows me personally to stay in contact with friends who I don't know if I would talk to as much or if at all if it weren't for sports. Moving on to the next point. Talking even more about the communication side of sports. When it comes to contracts and money making, professionalism involves a ton of talent, yet also is about marketability. Quote from the chapter. This is talking about, this is in the part of the section talking about earnings and salary and stuff. And yeah, communicating in sports is a huge, the example where it kind of conflicts here is Mike Trout. There was kind of a debate in the last year or so about MLB's Mike Trout for the Los Angeles Angels, talking about how he's not really out there. He doesn't really talk much. He doesn't really, get out to the media very often. Is he a very marketable player? Because he can have all the talent in the world, which I think he does, but is he very marketable? Well, he ended up getting paid the highest MLB contract with his extension, but, would he have made more if he was a more out there player, if he was talking more, if he inserted himself more online or in the world, communicated more? Could he have made more money because he's can sell more jerseys, just not off of talent alone? The next takeaway goes more towards the media side. In television, multiple visibility roles exist that are now integral to what is consumed at home. There are many well-liked people who their jobs were to talk sports, be in front of the camera, be on radio. Just that's part of the game now, is people can be the voices of their teams. The Reds have Marty Brennaman, who's about to retire. The Colts had Bob Lamey, who just retired. I'm trying to think who else. It doesn't matter. Regardless, and that also goes hand in hand with, because there is a less glamour in production jobs than in visibility jobs, substantially fewer people seek out these positions in sports media. Nonetheless, these jobs are critical to any sports media entity. So while the on-camera person is much more well-known and can be very integral and very important because it can connect a friendly face and a well-liked voice with a team that might help the branding of that team, of that sport, sports would not be where they are today without the production side, without the people behind the cameras, both video and photography, to give these amazing, photographs. Like Muhammad Ali has, that famous photograph after he laid a guy out on the mat. I can't think, it might have been Joe Frazier or whoever, but all these guys have, through sports, we've seen so many amazing photos and videos and highlights, and we can watch games, and it's easier to follow sports because of the media side of production. And that's where this is talking about the communication. It's without them, with, you're not saying that it's because of media that sports is so popular, but they wouldn't be as popular as they are if it weren't for ESPN and TNT and all these other channels that broadcast all these sports. Thanks.